Hey everybody, got an interesting story. Now you know the old phrase, no news is good news. If you think about that for a second, why do they say that? Oh, well, no news is good news. That would imply that news, generally speaking, must be bad news. Because if no news is good news, then clearly anytime there's news, it must be bad news. Um, which is interesting because like back when I used to use Facebook, which I don't anymore, as you may know, once or twice a week I'd get somebody on there, why don't you focus on the good stuff? Why don't you find some good news to talk about? Well, for good news, if there's good news, then everything's fine in life. Everything's good. There's no need to, you don't report on something good if everything's good around you. It's just normal. It's expected. But when something's out of the norm and it's extremely important, I don't care if it's bad news or good news. I'm going to report on it, and because it's bad news and it's not what we want to know about, I have to report on it so that people can make a decision or change something in their life due to what is about to come or what has just occurred or whatever. Having said that, I have what these bozos on Facebook would say, why don't you post some good news? Oh, you want good news? This is good news, but it's based upon very bad news. So, however you want to look at that. But the title, Tables Turn. Deputies and movers show up at bank to seize property for homeowner. What? Deputies and movers show up at a bank to seize property for the homeowner. What? I had to scratch my head a couple times. Collier County, Florida. Imagine that. That's where I live. And believe it or not, I think there was another case in Tampa that had happened similar to this. As I read this. Collier County, Florida. A bank foreclosure story you've got to see to believe. A Collier County couple turns the tables on Bank of America. One of my favorite banks. Along with JP Morgan, Citigroup, HSBC, and Goldman Sachs, you can consider them too. Turns the tables on Bank of America, the bank that tried to foreclose on their home. Now the family is foreclosing on the bank, even bringing trucks and deputies ready to seize property. The foreclosure nightmare started when Warren and Maureen Nyerges paid cash for a home owned by Bank of America in the Golden Gate Estates. They never had a mortgage whatsoever, but the bank fouled it up and wound up issuing a foreclosure through their attorney. The couple took their case to court, and after a year-and-a-half nightmare, the foreclosure was dropped. A Collier County judge said Bank of America has to pay the couples $2,534 in legal fees for the error. After more than 5 months, the bank still had not paid up. So the homeowner's attorney did just what the bank would do to get their money. Seize their assets legally. Quote, I instructed the deputy to go in and take desks, computers, copiers, filing cabinets, including cash in the drawers, attorney Todd Allen told Wink News. Outside the Bank of America on Davis Boulevard, several deputies stood by with movers ready to start hauling out the bank's office supplies and furniture. Inside, the homeowner's attorney was locked out of the bank manager's office by deputies while the bank manager tried to figure out what to do. Allen said the manager was visibly shaken. Having two sheriff's deputies sitting across your desk and a lawyer standing behind them, demanding whatever assets are in the bank can be intimidating. But so is having your home foreclosed on when it wasn't right. Matter of fact, this is me speaking, never is it right to have your house foreclosed on when the bank created the money out of thin air to loan to you in the first place. And if you pay 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, 29 years, and you've got 1 year left, right? Let's just pretend you got 1 year left. You've been paying for 29 years straight. I'm going to own my house finally. And then all of a sudden the bankers pull the wool over everyone's faces, crash the economy like they did in 2008, and you lost your job, etc., and you lost your house. You've been making those payments, and by the way, you would have paid probably at least 3 times the amount of the initial loan that they lent you by that 29 years. Do you think they'll say, listen, we've collected 3 times the amount of that loan for your house through you paying the interest payments on that loan? You've only got a year left. Thanks for being a great customer. Keep your house. We'll go ahead and send you the paperwork now that you own it. Not only no would that happen, hell no. The bank will say, wow, we have a massive asset over there. Even in this terribly depressed market, the guy only owes a few $1,000s left in his house, which will be paid off in the next year. We could sell the house, let's say $100,000. Let's say it's a $200-something house. The bank, even at today's prices, could sell it for $100,000 like that. Do you think they're going to say, you only have a year left? Besides, we collected that serious interest from you for the last 29 years of your life. Have a nice day. Appreciate you being a customer. No. They will throw you under the bus so quick. They will file a foreclosure on you so fast it'll make your head spin. Because they realize it will go through. You're probably not going to show up in court. You're not going to reply to the foreclosure notice or the lawsuit basically that's attached to it, which means default judgment for Bank of America or whatever bank. And then they come get your house, in which you only owed a few $1,000s on. Now they can sell that for $100,000. Forget the $300,000, $400,000, whatever it was that you paid for the last 29 years of your life. That doesn't count. You know, just one of those things. It's just, you know, it's that darn economy. It's like a rainstorm, right? As if it's not, as if it's just an act of God, you know, bad weather. These bastards did this to everybody. Therefore, in my opinion, no foreclosure is a right foreclosure ever. So, as for Allen, he calls this a symptom of a larger problem he sees often in the courts, where banks don't perform their due diligence on foreclosure cases. Quote, as a foreclosure defense attorney, this is sweet justice, end quote. You know what, Mr. Allen? I'm going to have to agree with you strongly. Now, if you or anybody you know is having trouble paying their mortgage payment, is about to get foreclosed on, and they're the type of person who's a bozo or a sheep or whatever the case may be, or just simply uninformed, which is most of the case, just uninformed. People don't have a clue that there's even a way to fight this. It would be in your best interest to have them hire an attorney that specializes in foreclosure defense, because you are guaranteed to stay in your house usually a minimum of 2 years without making a single payment on that house. So if you're ready to walk away anyways, and let's just say, I'll be nice, and let's just say your mortgage payments is $1,000 a month. You could hire an attorney for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 probably. Maybe not two. We'll say $3,000 or $4,000. Maybe $5,000. Let's say $5,000. Chances are the attorney will allow you to make payments the entire time he's representing you for those 2 years or plus longer. If you add up $1,000 a month, that means 4 months is $4,000. You have 2 years to pay $4,000. So if you say, well, I can't make a $1,000 payment, but I can make $500 a month. Hey, bank, will you let me do that? No, we're foreclosing on you. Okay, I'm just going to leave. No, don't be a bozo. Call the defense attorney, foreclosure defense attorney. Look online, look in your area, contact people, see if you can find things like this guy. This is a story where you know this guy, he's a foreclosure defense attorney. He probably knows all the tricks in the book. First, step A, demand the note. Step B, do this. Step C, do that. And he drags it out for 2-3 years. If you're going to leave your house anyways, to no fault of your own, mind you, there's no such thing as, well, I got to do the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. They own the house. I quit making the payments, so I'm at fault. I'm going to let them have the house. But what about all the thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000 plus that you've been paying on this house? Doesn't that mean anything? Do you get that back? If the bank's going to get the asset back and resell the asset, well then by God, you should get your money back, right? No, they get to keep that too, and then resell your house. So if you're going to do this, you've got to be smart. If you're going to play the game, which you don't have a choice if you live in this society, you are playing the game as soon as you're born, then you better know the rules of the game, and you better figure out a way to make the game work for you at all costs. And don't give me the, but it's not the right thing to do. There's no such thing, because the game and the creators of the game have it in their favor. You were outnumbered, and you were designed to lose from the beginning when they started their game. You were just born into it, not even realizing it's actually a game that they created and that they can't lose. But they can lose if you are smart enough. Making them pay court fee after court fee after court fee and attorney's fees and attorney fees just by standing up and fighting it. You will destroy these banks if enough people did the same thing. All you have to do, and here's step one, by the way, when your bank starts calling you, and this doesn't apply to someone who just bought a house and you have the first mortgage, the first time the house has ever had a mortgage, basically you're the homeowner, you just bought the house. This probably doesn't apply to you, at least for the first step. You can still hire a lawyer and drag it out for 2 or so years. Yes, you can do that. But there's actually a pre-step that I would advise. But the most people who can do this pre-step are only people who have been living in their houses, and you were one of the people who received a piece of paperwork in the mail one day that said, hey, your loan company, XYZ company, has sold the loan to ABC company, and you will now make your payments to ABC company at this address. And then possibly you got another one of those letters from another company at another date. ABC company has now been replaced with Countrywide. You will now start making payments to Countrywide, right? And you did this 2 or 3 times. Even one time would be enough. When they call you, it's first the bank that's going to call you looking for that payment. Why are you late? When can we expect payment? We may have to file foreclosure if we can't get payment, etc., etc. And then they wait for your comment, and they will be jotting down your comments. And you say, and you can tell them, listen, I want you to write this down in the notes in your computer. Okay, I hired a lawyer who did some background research into the paperwork of my house, including the chain of title. We found that it appears that there may have been some fraud committed on the chain of title, and that it was not properly signed. And I asked my lawyer, well, if it's not properly signed and the first mortgage company sells it to the second mortgage company and they have to sign the title, basically the note, and then when they sell it to someone else, they have to sign the note, physical hand signature, and none of that was done. It was basically left blank the whole way through every time they handed it off. I asked my lawyer, how could I legally pay this house off if I just happen to win the lottery today, let's say, if they aren't really the owners of the note, because the last company that had it before them didn't sign the note, and the company before them also didn't sign the note. Who's to say one of those in-between companies can't step forward and say, hey, we were the last one to sign the note, we're the real note holder, not that guy and not that guy. And the lawyer said, you got a good point, we can't do that, I advise you to stop making the payment. That's what you tell the bank when they call you. That's the pre-step. Chances are, when they see that, they've got the little queue that they have to call every day. Hi, this is so-and-so from Bozo of America. Are you going to be able to make your mortgage payment soon? No? Okay. Next one. Hi, this is so-and-so from Bozo of America. Can you make your mortgage payment anytime soon? No? Okay, next. And they read the notes every time. And then they get down to the non-Bozo, you, who said what I just told you to say, and they see those notes. Fraud. Fraud may have been committed. Looks like there's been a problem with the chain of title. Looks like Bank of America or Bozo of America may have committed fraud as well. My lawyer has a lawyer. Put this over here in the pile of don't screw with right now, and just leave it over there. And let's get back to the regular list of sheep who we can intimidate and force to get a payment and do this and do that. And you will find out that there's a real good possibility that they're really going to leave you alone for a long time. And it's going to take them a long amount of time to finally, if they decide to do it, let's hire our own lawyer or law firm that we're using or some other group to do an in-depth analysis of all the paperwork of this particular homeowner who says we committed fraud. And then we'll determine if we did or not. So now they have to pay for that to get done. And if they find out that actually they didn't commit fraud and everything is actually legitimate, then they can put you back in the queue to start making calls again. Chances are, because they did commit fraud, and this is not just a joke, and you're finding out not only time and time again, but almost every single time fraud was committed, at least with the chain of title thing I just mentioned, or with other measures. One of the other things that they do, well, let me finish what I'm saying, is they're not even going to go to the step and say, let's hire, oh yeah, he says we committed fraud on that. That's what the notes say on that account. Yeah, he says that we committed fraud, and they had a lawyer that looked into it and did the background check on it all, and looks like there's fraud done. Do you think that they're even going to go and hire a place to make sure, can you check out account number such and such and see if we actually did commit fraud? They already know they did to pretty much everybody, so why would they even waste their time checking to see if you're bluffing, so to speak? Because even if you didn't do that, even if you didn't hire a lawyer, but you did tell them that, chances are it's really true. They did commit fraud. And one of the other things that is actually, I don't know if it's considered fraudulent, but it could at least get you out of your mortgage and out of your house probably without any kind of problems. It would have to go through court, but one of the things that a financial institution has to do, whether it's a mortgage, a boat loan, a car loan, or any kind of loan, they have got to do the due diligence to make sure that the person walking through their door who wants that boat loan or house loan or whatever, A, you have a job, B, verified your income, C, verified you've been working at that job or in that industry for X amount of years, okay? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay, you've qualified, here you go. But as we all know, the bank simply said, hey, do you have a job? Yep, check that off. Hey, how much is this house you want? Oh, it's $250,000. How much do you make again? I make $50,000 a year. No, I think you make 75. I do? Yeah. You make 75, right? Yeah. Okay, check that off. You've been working there for 6 months? No. Did you just say 2 years? Oh yeah, 2 years. Okay, check. All right, we'd like to approve you to your new house and approve this loan for you. Hope you enjoy your new $250,000 house. Only to find out that they struggle to make their payments, destroy all their savings trying to make those payments, destroy their checking account, keeping up with that bill, only to find out the inevitable. This guy gave me a loan that I couldn't afford, that he said I could afford, and then people yell at you for being the bozo who said you should know your own finances, you should know you can't afford that. Why did you go and get that house? Can't you do math? Well, that's true. You should be able to do math. But when you go to an expert in the industry, the guru, and the guru tells you, absolutely, you can afford this. This is not a problem. You qualify, you qualify, you qualify, no problem. Well, by God, I guess I qualify. This guy's the expert. I don't deal with mortgages. I don't deal with financing. As a matter of fact, my wife does all my, financing. The bank said I could get the house. They gave me the loan. Then by God, I must be able to get the loan. A bank cannot do that either. Anyone lending money, financial institution, cannot do that based off of simply asking you questions without even doing any type of background research to verify, which is due diligence, that you can actually afford it. So there's another avenue of attack you can go after a bank on. So I just want to share that with you. This is good news for the little guy like us, and I can't wait to hear more stories like this if there are some. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Take care.